So this video is over piecewise functions. So first, what is a piecewise function? It is a function that is made up of several pieces, instead of just one function equation. And here you see a graph that is a piecewise function, and you can tell that it's actually made up of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 different pieces. So each one of these pieces is limited in how far it is allowed to go, and that's how we get this kind of picture. Now you might ask, why do we need to know about piecewise functions? Well, for one example, the water tanks that you did on the worksheet, Tanks a Lot, those were representation of a piecewise function. So what does a piecewise function actually look like? Well, it is still a function, but we have to use this curly brace in order to put all of our different pieces in one spot. For this example, our first piece is going to be 1/4 times x plus 8 squared plus 2. And we are going to define this piece over a domain of x is less than or equal to -4. For the second piece, we're going to use x, or negative x, and we're going to define the middle piece over the domain -4 to +2. And our last piece is going to be a negative square root of x minus 2 minus 5, and we are going to define its domain for all x values greater than 2. So first I want to point out that even though I have separated this out into separate pieces, the domain values, if you look, do not overlap. Yes, they match, and that's okay, as long as they don't actually overlap. So let's see what the first piece looks like. All right, I'm going to actually graph this, so it'll take just a second to figure out where all my points go. And so this is my first piece. As you can see, it comes in from the far negative side because it goes all the way to -infinity. And it comes in as a parabola, but the parabola stops on x is -4. Okay, so it stops on the point -4, +6. And it doesn't go any farther than this. So this is the first piece. The second piece starts at -4, 4, but does not actually touch it, and continues down to 2, -2. And it does touch the point 2, -2. The third piece starts at 2, -5, but again, it does not touch, and continues on to +infinity, or +infinity for the x and -infinity for the y. So you can see my three different pieces of this piecewise function. Notice none of them overlap. The open circles means that the function is not actually there. And so it still passes the vertical line test. So things a piecewise function must have. Number 1, it still must pass the vertical line test. Number 2, each piece must have a defined domain. And number 3, the defined domain limits cannot overlap. All right, that's it. Review your notes over piecewise functions. If you did not take notes, go back and watch the video again. See you later.